Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I know we're running just a little bit late. We just had some technical difficulties, but fortunately, we are here. We are live for one of our other Aquarium Academy videos here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. Today, we're going to be talking all about animal health care here at the aquarium. So you can kind of start to think about, what do you think animal health care at an aquarium looks like? And if during this question you have any thoughts you want to share with us, any questions, observations, there is a live text line that you can use, and you can see that number right here on the screen. That number is 562-286-1838. So this is a live text line that you can use today on October 29th from 10 to 10:30 in the morning. But if you are watching this program after 10:30 this morning, you can still send in your questions and observations, but instead of using this live text line, you're going to want to use our email. And that email is live@lbaop.org. This just ensures that we can still address your questions or your observations in a timely manner, since we are not always manning this text line. But today, this morning, we are. So once again, any of those questions, any of those thoughts, you're going to want to use this live text line. And I definitely invite you to do so. Like that, I can talk about the things that you are interested in. I'm also not alone in the studio today. I do have my friend Jen in front of me. So she's going to be taking us on our adventure. She's giving you a nice little wave, but she'll be taking us on our adventure, showing us the different topics we're going to be talking about, the different animals we'll be discussing as well. But now that we've covered all that, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about animal health care. So, what do you think that looks like at an aquarium? I want to say we have over 12,000 animals that call the aquarium their home. We have different animals like fish, we have different mammals, we have birds, we even have snakes. So what can that look like? It's really going to depend on the animal. So I want to introduce you to a very magical place we have here at the aquarium, which is called the Molina Animal Care Center. And let me step off of the screen so you can get your first initial tour as to what the Molina Animal Care Center looks like. And if you hear me reference this as the MAC, that's just the abbreviation for the Molina Animal Care Center. I just want to give you some preface to that. So you can see our workers that work inside our Molina Animal Care Center. You can see some of the equipment, some of the supplies. So what do you think this place is? The name kind of gives it away, right? It's our care center. So this is where our animals will visit if they're getting their physical checkups. When they go to the dentist, they'll come here. They won't actually go to the dentist like Western Dental. They'll just come to here and we're able to check on them. If someone is sick and they need to be looked at, if someone needs to be on observation, they'll also come to our Molina Animal Care Center. So there's so many reasons as to why they may have to visit here. A lot of the times, most of them will just be visiting for those physical checkups. So some of our animals will get a daily checkup once a year, some of them twice a year. It really depends on the animal and also how many we have of them. Because sometimes it's easier for us to go to them, and we'll definitely explore some of those animals as well. But just take a look at all of this equipment. Some of it may look familiar to you because a lot of this equipment that we have is the same equipment that we'll be getting tested at if you go to the doctors or anything like that. If you've ever gotten an x-ray and broken your arm, it's definitely very cool. I want to say if you ever get the opportunity to see an animal get an x-ray because they look kind of funky once you take off all those layers of feathers or anything like that. Like, look at this. What animal do you think this is? It's a penguin. So you can see what that looks like, and you can see our penguin right here. We're trying to keep it still so we can get some good x-rays of the penguin and everything. So you can see the different observations they can make regarding that as well. So the same way that if you've ever broken your arm, if you've ever broken a bone, or if you've ever needed to get x-rays for something, it's going to work the same way for them. And one thing that I think is interesting, which I'm thinking about right now, I don't know if they wear a little lead vest like we do. So that might be something that would be kind of silly to imagine, as if they had a little lead vest, like when we get one when you get on an x-ray. I've run a lot of x-rays. I've broken my bones, so I'm very familiar with all of that. But you can also just see all those different fun settings, all the different areas we can put them in, even little incubation centers for babies. And you can see some of our patients here, some of our rainbow lorikeets. Our rainbow lorikeets are a very interesting animal here at the aquarium. Sometimes they're not even sick, but they have kind of weird behaviors that make you go like, I want to make sure you're all right, so we're going to keep a closer eye on you. I know one of our lorikeets in our aviary, he likes to lay down all the time. So he doesn't look very healthy. So he likes to lay down on the post, he likes to lay down on the floor, and guests always ask us about him. But he is absolutely fine. But because of that, we did take him on observation here at our Molina Animal Care Center, and we watched him for a couple of months. We ran lots of different tests on him, and he's perfectly healthy. He's just kind of strange. This is not him. This is just an example of a rainbow lorikeet. But yeah, that's another thing. If you visit the aquarium and you look at some of our animals, sometimes there's fish who can't even stay completely still in the water and they'll keep on floating up because they have buoyancy issues. There's birds who have weird behaviors, like they like to lay down, like my friend that I'm mentioning to you. Those are other things too. So if you ever are curious, I honestly recommend for you to ask any of our staff members or volunteers here at the aquarium, because most of the time we are aware of it and it may just be a little weird quirk that they have. So that's another very fun thing. But if they need closer observation, like I was mentioning, they can go to Molina Animal Care Center. Or if they actually are sick and something's wrong with them, they can also visit there. You can see the plethora of equipment we were looking at. So we can definitely take care of a wide range of animals, which is super, super important. So here is another look. You can see all the computers, all these cabinets are filled with different medications and everything. Some medications that you may have been prescribed before, maybe medications our animals are taking. Some of our animals will even get eye drops. So the same eye drops you get are the same eye drops they get, which is kind of funny to think about. But now you may be wondering, well, who takes care of all these animals then? So we do have our vet staff, and you can see some of them right on over here sitting down. Sometimes we have interns. This is our main vet, our doctor. His name is Dr. Adams. So apart from our vet staff too, they'll be working with our aviculturist and our mammologist. So what is that, right? So to introduce you to one, this is Frankie right here. She is one of our aviculturists. So she's working with all of our different birds here at the aquarium. So a way that she can help with this session is this bird right here is very familiar with Frankie. So oftentimes animals will feel a little bit more comfortable around someone that they recognize and someone that they know. So she knows how to handle the bird. She knows the bird and its quirks, its personalities. Since as an aviculture, she's going to be working this with these birds on a daily basis, she's able to help with these examinations and everything to help things go a little bit more smoothly. Even from things as small as being able to hold them to just making the bird a little bit more comfortable. You may have a dog or a cat at home. So a lot of times, I know when I've gone to the vet with my cat, his name is Sunny. He's a very big, fat cat. So when we go to the vet, he can be a little bit hard to handle. So me holding Sunny as the vet checks him out makes him a little bit more comfortable since he knows me. And maybe you've done that before. So that is something that occurs here. Our mammalogists, who are the ones who work with our mammals like our otters, our seals, and sea lions, will also help with the health care of the mammals that they take care of. So that's some different roles that will come together in order to really be able to collaborate. Ooh, and I see that I just got a question in is, do animals get annual checkups? And they do, friends. So just the way that we are supposed to get annual checkups every single year, I don't, but our animals do as well. And this video is really, really great because our penguins will actually get checkups too. So we do have 21 of our Magellanic penguins here at the aquarium. Every single one of them will get a checkup. So they'll come and they'll get their checkup even when they're babies. Look at this baby penguin right here. So this is actually this baby penguin's first checkup. So they're making sure it's really nice and healthy. They'll weigh them to make sure that they're at a nice and healthy weight. They'll do blood tests, make sure that they are just in that perfect clean bill of health. And then after that, they're able to just see that penguin grow and then send it on its way within our exhibit. They'll take a look at the wings of the penguin right here. They'll take a look at their feet, make sure their feet are really nice and healthy, at these feathers, and take a closer look at what's going on here. So penguins are actually susceptible to several different issues, especially in their feet. Fortunately, there is a way or another to treat them, but not always is it curable, just like the diseases or the sicknesses we have as humans. So this penguin right here is actually being treated for bumblefoot. And bumblefoot can be something that is very, very harmful to penguins if it is left ignored. So what will happen is they'll get different bacteria and stuff in their feet, and then their feet will get really swollen, and they're not really able to navigate or do things on their own. So giving them little things like this, like wrapping their foot and everything, a way to help them like kind of walk around. They'll have their little boot, will really help the penguins. And what is interesting with this is that it can happen for several different reasons. Actually, so to talk to you about our penguins here at the aquarium, when we first got our penguins here at the aquarium, they were actually a group of Brazilian rescues. So when penguins step on land that they're not used to, they can actually get bumblefoot, which is what happened with one of those penguins. They were deserted, so their feet weren't used to those surfaces. So one of those penguins, actually, she has bumblefoot every single year. It will pop back up and then it will heal, but then it'll come back, and so on and so forth. But here at the aquarium, since our aviculturists work with them so closely, they've been working on how can we help this penguin out, How can we make their lives a little bit better? So after working with our vet staff at our Molina Animal Care Center, what they've actually practiced doing is feeding that penguin more within the water. If they know that something is going to be coming up or something may be triggering that bumblefoot, they'll go ahead and wrap that foot, keep her behind the scenes, so like that she can just relax and not put too much stress on that foot. So that's another thing that occurs too, is if we have an animal that we know that needs help, we're able to track that. So everyone, not everyone, because we have a lot of fish, but most of our animals, especially all of our birds and everything here, have their own little file. So you can imagine we have a bird named Gerardo. Right? We don't have a penguin. I'm using an example bird. Gerardo, though. Gerardo is a penguin who we rescued. So we'll have where he was rescued from, what other facilities he's possibly lived at, his blood type, who his parents are, if we can track that. But he's a rescue, so we don't really know his parents or anything like that. Any past health issues that he has, any current health issues, any medication, any vitamins, all those different things will be tracked within Gerardo's file. So that's exactly how it is for all of our penguins here at the aquarium, and the majority of our animals as well. So that is definitely something interesting for us to be able to talk about. And I see that I have a question as to what if an animal needs glasses? That's a very interesting question. I'm trying to think about it. As far as I know, we don't have any animals who wear glasses here at the aquarium. So what will actually happen is our vet staff, along with our animal team, are able to kind of work together and collaborate as to how we can work more comfortably with those animals. A really great example are actually some sea otters that we used to have. They were partially pretty blind because they were pretty old. So their training for them really shifted as they were able to figure out that they can do auditory based training with them. So instead of trying to work with our otter, who at the time his name was Charlie, he's unfortunately passed now, but he is very, very old. So instead of working with Charlie by trying to get his attention, trying to show him different things, we were able to actually work on an audio basis with him. So our mammologist, and just to mention, friends, this is not a sea otter. We're going to look at a sea otter right now. I won't talk about our seals very shortly, but So our mammalogists, they would do audio-based training. So they had things that they could make noise with. Sometimes they would tap on the ground. And Charlie learned, oh, these audio cues are for me. So that's how we were able to so work with him. And you might be wondering, well, why is it important to work with him if he was already so old, right? And here is a picture of one of our sea otters here at the aquarium. But the reason why it's important to still work with animals like Charlie who were old and who were visually impaired is because it's still important for them to be exercising their brains, moving their bodies, just like that they can keep staying healthy and not develop any other problems. So that is one of the ways that we're able to adjust to animals who may be partially blind or who may need said glasses. There are some animals here at the aquarium who will actually get eye drops as well. So our seals and sea lions are a really great example because all of them are trained to get eye drops. So the way that our mammalogists are able to do that to make it easier for our vet staff if they ever do need to come and administer eye drops to them is that during these training sessions, they'll make them very, very comfortable with the fact that people may be touching them, they may be going near their eyes and everything. So it really helps them be less stressed if those things were to ever occur. So we can think about animal health care as something long term, like when they get their yearly checkups, if they ever get sick or anything like that. But animal health care is really occurring every single day. And this is a really great example right here. And you can see one of our sea lions during their training session, they are also trained to open up those mouths. So, like that, we're able to get a good look at those teeth and those mouths and everything. I want to call your attention to something though, which are the sea lion's teeth. Do you see their teeth? What color are their teeth? Look at those little teeth right there. They're the color black, and you might be concerned like, why do they have black teeth? Is it okay? So there are some animals like our sea lions who are very special in the fact that their teeth are naturally black. And the reason for that is they have a special bacterial coating on their teeth that helps protect their teeth out within their natural habitats. So that's why with our sea lions, we won't actually brush their teeth. But if we go back to that video of our seal brushing their teeth of the seal is a lot more like ours. So it's really important for our seals to get their teeth brushed every single day, just like we should be brushing our teeth at least twice a day, okay, friends? Don't forget to brush your teeth after breakfast if that's what you're eating right now. But you can see those little white teeth, those nice pearly whites, and then they'll go ahead and get those teeth brushed. And you might have a toothbrush just like this. They use special vibrating electric toothbrushes, and I do want to say, I do know that they use a more expensive brand of electric toothbrush than we may have at our home, but they will get their teeth brushed, and then as special reinforcement, they will get a nice fish or a nice treat to let them know, hey, thanks for letting me do this. You're doing a great job. But it's very important to brush the seal's teeth because they can get tooth decay just like we can as humans if we don't go to the dentist and get our teeth taken care of. This is actually a very big issue for animals like seals out in their natural habitats, is getting tooth decay, getting infections, and that's how they can get really sick and even pass away. So that's why here at the aquarium we do practice things like brushing their teeth. We'll also brush our otters' teeth, so that's always a lot of fun. And if you're wondering about their toothpaste flavor, sometimes it's flavorless, sometimes it's fish flavored. So that's another very fun thing. Would you like to use fish flavored toothpaste? I don't think so. But maybe growing up, you had a fun flavor. I know that I had a dentist who used to give me sprinkle flavored toothpaste, and I loved it. So maybe you have something like that too. Because I do wonder if I could ask a seal, which one do you prefer? I think their answer would be that their favorite is the fish flavored toothpaste. I see. Ooh, someone is asking, how can you tell a seal is sick? Does it look sad? So, friends, that's another really great question. So, like I mentioned earlier, when it comes to animal healthcare, it's really a big collaboration between our vet staff and our animal team who is working with them on a daily basis. So, let's say a seal was sick. Our team, our mammologist who works with their seal on a daily basis, can often pick up if something is wrong with them. If they're not acting like they usually do, if they're a bit sluggish, if they don't want to participate under any circumstances, then those will be little telltale signs as to what is going on with them. They don't animals don't always look sad as you would imagine, but oftentimes there's other little cues that can let you know that something is wrong or something is bothering them, especially with some of our bigger animals here. Sometimes our fish do need a little bit of a closer look, but with animals like that we train with or work a little bit more closely with in those regards, our mammalogists and our aviculturists are very good at keeping an eye out for maybe little things that are occurring as little different quirks or things that they don't usually do occur. But speaking about fish, because I know so far we've spoken about penguins, we've spoken about our seals, but you might be like, what happens to all the fish? You're in an aquarium. So, fish can have also, friends, their own issues as to what can kind of occur with them. So their treatment can be a little bit different. Sometimes we have fish who aren't the best swimmers and aren't the best at staying buoyant. And what that means is that they're not the best at staying within the water and actually swimming around. We have a few friends I know in our tropical gallery that float up to the surface, and we had one that used to kind of swim on its side because it couldn't quite figure out its buoyancy. But there's also some fish that sometimes get sick and need extra treatment. So how in the world do you treat a fish, right? Because can fish come out of water? No. So they need to stay underwater in order to survive. They have gills and everything, which allow them to be able to survive, pull the oxygen out of the water. So how do you think a fish gets a checkup? How do you think fish gets surgery? There is a very special system, friends. And part of this is through fish anesthesia. Not the princess, but this medication you can see right here. So this anesthesia is made into this powder, and then it will be sprinkled into the water. And what this will do is we can put a fish inside of there, and they'll go to sleep. So you can see it's swimming around, and then it's going to slowly stop swimming, and it's going to be put to sleep. So what we can do after this is we can get the fish a little bit out of the water. Just like that, we can take any samples that we need if we need to check if their scales are healthy, if they have any bacteria on them. And then what we can do is we'll use special tubing to put over their gills. So like that, it mimics what they would usually be doing by taking the oxygen out of the water. But here we're just taking that sample very quickly of their scales, because fish scales are super, super important to them, friends. That's why if you have ever visited the aquarium, we ask you to please not touch the fish. But if you ever go snorkeling, if you ever go to the ocean, if you ever go diving, sometimes there's fish that are very, very curious, and they'll even come up to you and be like, hello. But even if a fish does that, you don't want to touch them, because their scales, like I mentioned, can fall off very easily and are so sensitive. And if that happens, they don't have that protection from other parasites and bacteria. So that can actually lead to their sickness and then their overall downfall. So here we have these checkups, depending if a fish looks a little bit sick, if something is happening with it that isn't normal. And then we're able to put that tube within their mouth over those gills. So like that, they can go through that checkup process before they are returned back home. I do want to say, before they return back home, we will let them wake up and everything, make sure things are fine, and then they'll return back home within their exhibits. So these are some different things that take place depending on the animals. And I just got a great question right now, and someone is asking, do all your fish get annual exams? And no way do all of our fish get annual exam, friends. I know we have more than 12,000 animals here at the aquarium, and I would have to guess at least 10,000 of those are fish here. So, can you imagine if we were taking all 10,000 fish to get annual checkups? There's not even enough days in the year to take one fish every single day. We would have to take, I don't know, if you do some math, I would say probably more than 10 fish a day. But They do not get annual checkups. But what will happen is we also have our aquarists here at the aquarium, and they are the workers here that work very closely with the fish. So they'll do morning rounds, is what they're called. So they'll arrive around 7 or 8 a.m. every morning here at the aquarium, and they'll walk to their exhibit, the whatever exhibit they're designated of taking care of the animals in there, and they'll look at everyone and make sure everyone is very nice and healthy. For some of our bigger exhibits like this one, there's also divers that will come in here. So the divers can take a look at all the different animals that live inside of here, make sure everyone's swimming normally, everyone's eating, and everyone has a nice clean bill of health. So like I mentioned, friends, there's just a giant team of people that work together. Sometimes that's even our guests. Sometimes our guests will point things out to us, and it's like, oh, you're right. We should keep a closer eye on the animal. So even you watching these programs, if you ever watch any of our live cameras and see that anything is up, you can always call the aquarium and also let us know. So you can see many moving parts to everything that goes on regarding animal health care here at the aquarium. But friends, I want to say thank you so much. It's been so much fun talking about the different ways that we care for our animals here at the aquarium, ranging from fish to birds to mammals. There's so many different animals, even to me. So thank you so much, friends. If you have any last questions, feel free to send them into our email and we will get to those very soon. But thank you, friends, and have a good rest of your weekend. Bye bye.